These are 10 of Quagmire's most underrated moments, starting with the time he began acting more like Peter after accidentally wearing his underwear in Brief Encounter. So the guys hear about a new laundromat called Duds and Suds, which serves beer.
Oh, cool!
We should go!
Nothing better than putting on a warm diaper right out of the dryer.
It truly is remarkable how Joe can instantly make something uncool just by opening his mouth. So they decide to check it out, seeing this as proof that beer makes everything better. Laundry, yard work, babysitting, driving, AA meetings. On second thought, maybe only some things.
Hey, check it out. You and Peter have the same undies.
Except Peter's could probably be used as the sail of a boat. Still, nothing connects you with the homies more than wearing the same underwear. The same brand, I should specify. But look, I won't judge. You do you, man. Anyway, Quagmire's underwear accidentally makes it home with Peter.
Giggity morning, everyone. Lois, can I see you in the other room for a second?
Sure.
All right.
But there must have been some magic in those old cotton undies he found because Peter is feeling extra frisky.
Peter, what would you like for breakfast?
Chocolate chip pancakes. Lois, can I see you in the other room for a second?
Okay, but how are those underwear not ripping at the seams? Peter's gotta be like 3 times Quagmire's size. But that means next door, Quagmire's treating his date to the classic Peter experience.
But first, a dump so long I will be able to read everything Garfield ever wrote.
He knows Garfield the cat didn't write his own comics, right? Oh god, the underwear must already be seeping into his brain. His Peterisms even seem to be spilling over into his job.
Hello, this is your captain speaking from the, cockpit.
If my pilot started talking like that, I'd be fighting tooth and nail to get off that plane immediately. But for Peter, it's not just Quagmire's libido he's inherited.
There he is. The reason our lawn looks like it has leopard skin pants.
Normally, Peter would be excited to talk poop. So Brian realizes something must be going on.
What's your problem? Why are you being such a jerk to me? My problem with you? Let's see, where do I begin?
This is more or less a condensed version of Quagmire's rant from Jerome is the New Black, though I'm pretty sure there's a little bit of truth to Peter's grievances too.
What happened to you?
I'm not really sure. I was in line at the bank and this human-sized chicken cut in front of me.
Aw, I would've liked to have seen that. But the guys still don't seem to have an explanation for why they're acting so differently.
He's wearing your underwear, and you're wearing his.
Except Joe, apparently, who's clearly given this a lot of thought, and a quick peek at their tags reveals this to be the truth.
Your boys were where his boys were, and your boys were where his boys were.
And I think that means you guys are lovers now. Hey, I don't make the rules, I just say whatever nonsense flows through the old noggin. So Peter and Quagmire are totally normal about this whole thing, but there's still a tinge of awkwardness in the air.
I'm gonna have Lois cancel our dinner plans with you and Ida tomorrow. I think it's too soon.
Quagmire has literally climbed into Peter's pants before. This is hardly the weirdest interaction they've had. But they go through with the dinner anyway, handling the situation like mature men.
I went to the underwear doctor, and you should probably get checked.
Truth be told, you should get checked after breathing in the same room as Quagmire. That guy's an international airport for STDs. The guys come clean about it, and while the women find it hilarious, they also think it's nothing to be worked up over.
Ladies switch underwear all the time. I might be wearing Barney's right now. I don't even remember.
Lois, please, this is not the time for common sense. So Quagmire decides to move out of the neighborhood, but thankfully they come to their senses.
Underwear should never come between two friends.
Well, it kinda should.
yeah, kinda should, yeah.
So their friendship is restored and nothing of value is lost. Except maybe Quagmire's bank account if he already sold his house and bought a new one. But hey, your entire equity comes and goes. Half-naked friendships are forever. But much like how Peter abused his newfound Quagmire mojo, Quagmire would also abuse Lois's advice for picking up middle-aged women in the episode Island Adventure. So the guys are talking about what's going on in the news.
So I guess Thanos got the Mind Stone.
Wow, so now he's got all of them.
I guess so.
What does that mean for us?
Yeah, suddenly that Disney merger isn't looking all that great. But forget about half of existence disappearing, Quagmire spotted a woman to hit on.
You know, I never forget the back of a head. I don't think we've met. I'm Glenn Quagmire.
That may work on the young and dumb, but this woman is 44. She's seen all the plays and heard all the lines.
Come on, let's get out of here.
Look, I'm not some bimbo who falls for tired pickup lines.
Swing and a miss. In fact, he swung so hard that he fell on his butt. So when Quagmire continuously fails to pick up the middle-aged woman, he decides to consult the expert, a middle-aged woman.
Lois, will you teach me the ways of the middle-aged woman?
All right. I'm a sucker for romance.
Yeah, I'm sure being reminded of your age constantly will be great for your self-esteem.
Now, Glenn, I'm gonna help you get into the mind of a middle-aged woman.
Thought he wanted to get into their pants, but I guess we can work our way there.
Monica agreed to have dinner with me tomorrow.
That's great!
I suppose. but I don't think I can pull it off by myself.
So Quagmire wants her to be nearby during the date so they can run play-by-plays. I would have gone with the classic 2 people in an oversized trench coat plan, but we'll see how this one goes. For a guy who's probably had more women than hot meals, Quagmire really doesn't seem to understand them, does he?
I noticed a yoga mat in the back of your car. How often do you do yoga?
Alright, I'll give him that one. I didn't know that either. All these lessons have me feeling like I'm back in school again. The desire to sketch that S everyone used to doodle is calling out to me like the Green Goblin mask.
Listen, what if we just bail on dinner and head back to my place?
Great, I'm in.
Yeah, Quagmire is probably better eye candy than he is a conversationalist, but he won't say no to getting to the finish line early. After a bit of time, Lois decides to ask Quagmire how things went after the date.
How are things with Monica? Your hot date from the other night.
Oh yeah, I plowed her, thanks again.
How, and I genuinely mean how, did you not realize that was his endgame, Lois? Is this your first time meeting the man?
All those texts you sent me, they're like my Bible now. I just keep using these same tips on different women.
Are you new here? So Quagmire is no longer terrorizing the young and the dumb, but the middle-aged and the potentially just as dumb.
I've created a monster.
And like Dr. Frankenstein before her, she's looking to stop her sinister creation herself.
Oh, hey, Lo. Ow! That feels great.
Yeah, kinda hard to punish someone with a punishment kink.
You used me as a tool to get down every middle-aged woman's pants in town.
Slacks, Lois. They call them slacks.
But Quagmire does feel like he owes Lois an apology, which he gives her. So does that mean he's gonna stop? Oh, my sweet summer child.
You want to take a pointless girl stride walk and listen to Ray LaMontagne?
Sure.
Yeah, should have seen that coming. You give Quagmire an inch and he'll take a mile. He'll also probably give you an inch himself if you giggity what I'm giggitying at. But Quagmire would go from master of women to master of the kitchen when he and Peter started a war over a local cooking show, impaling them softly. So Jerome's looking to introduce food to the Clams menu, but Quagmire is a harsh critic.
Ugh, these are terrible.
Looks like we got ourselves a Gordon Ramsay over here. Giggity Ramsay? I'll workshop that.
Since when are you such an expert on food?
For your information, I'm an excellent cook.
You? A cook?
Well, we know he kicks his dates out in the morning without making them breakfast, so Peter's right to be skeptical.
I am a good cook, and I'll prove it to you. Saturday night, you and all your wives are coming to my place for dinner.
The men might want to check their wives' food first for any, shall we say, unnecessary ingredients. Can't be too careful with this guy. But Quagmire manages to impress with his food spread, so much so that they think he could be making money off of his talents.
You know, the 11:30 cooking show on Channel 5 needs a new host.
Geez, a ladies' man, a pilot, and a cook? Is there anything Quagmire can't do? Well, except for standing 100 feet from certain schools. So Peter tags along to Quagmire's audition for emotional support and, unbeknownst to Quagmire, comic relief.
Not bad.
Also, the tomatoes can be eyes and the lettuce can be hair.
Just don't ask him where the carrot is. But this entertains the producer enough to hire Quagmire on the condition that Peter also appears on the show. So Quagmire's show takes off, though Peter does tend to sidetrack it by doing things like the cinnamon challenge.
Of course, most people associate mince pie with Christmas. But I'll be honest, I'm not afraid of a summer mince pie.
Here's a little chef's secret. Cinnamon is best applied to your dish by coughing it up from the back of your throat. So they try moving Peter off camera and put him in charge of delivering helpful tips.
And in that bag, we'll combine one large, finely chopped garlic clove.
Someone probably should have told them they needed to be cooking related though, but eventually Peter's hijinks become too much for Quagmire to handle.
Damn it, Peter, that's it! I can't do this show with you anymore! You're fired!
But apparently his man-child antics are a big hit with the audience, so the studio offers Peter his own show. So now audiences are left to choose between Quagmire's helpful cooking show or Peter's brain rot. I think we know who they're gonna pick.
Add butter to taste. Delicious! Butter dunk!
If making frozen pizza bagels makes you a chef, then I must be Bobby freaking Flay. But this town ain't big enough for 2 cooking shows.
I know how we can settle this. A cook-off. Each of you cooks a meal using a secret ingredient. Iron Chef style.
Yeah, and whoever loses dies. That's how that show goes, right? I've never watched it.
See you in the kitchen, jerk.
I'll see you in hell, loser!
So the two prepare for the big showdown with Joe in Quagmire's corner and Cleveland and Peter's. As long as the secret ingredient is Cleveland getting pants, Peter might actually have a shot.
And the secret ingredient is... butter.
Ah, sweet!
Hey, that's the second best outcome for him. While Peter seems to be thriving, Quagmire's busy having a high cholesterol panic attack.
Son of a bitch, I never cook with butter. Joe, grab my recipe book and find a dish where I can substitute olive oil with butter.
Sorry, Glenn, but butter is a gift from the gods that can't be replaced so easily. Not even margarine can stand up to it. I can't believe it's not butter. I can't believe you think I'll accept anything less than my favorite stick of fat.
I can't do this.
Come on, there's no use crying over spilled butter. But Peter realizes how much this means to Quagmire, so he decides to throw the cook-off in the most heart-clogging way possible.
And in a stunning turn of events, Chef Griffin is eating his entire meal. He'll have nothing to serve.
So Quagmire wins by default, ignoring the fact that Quagmire doesn't know how to cook with one of the most used ingredients known to man. I don't know if he should be teaching anybody.
I couldn't take your dream away. Heart attack from you, buddy.
And to save their friendship, Quagmire turns down the show as well, deciding to get canceled the same way Paula Deen did.
You coulda just quit the show.
But Quagmire isn't a quitter, evident by his attempts to be a good father to his long-lost daughter in the episode No Giggity, No Doubt. So the guys are introduced to the only form of drinking and driving that's socially acceptable.
We're taking a party bus to the game.
A bus for partying?
It's the greatest invention since sliced bread. Remember when we all used to eat lumps of bread like an idiot? So the guys work their way onto party buses for bachelor parties.
To my last night as a free man!
And buses headed to the high school prom.
I'm a cop, but I'm not a narc.
While there, Quagmire wastes zero time and gets right into the legalities.
How old are you?
18.
All right, and I just recorded you saying that, and hi, I am Glenn Quagmire.
Girl, he's either an adult who shouldn't be here or a kid who was held back far too many times, and neither of those are good options.
Hey, you want to get out of here?
Yeah, let's go.
And after the traditional pre-coitus paperwork, the two are ready to get down. Guess we gotta get real cool about him being old enough to be your father.
Oh, giggity.
Wait, did you just say giggity?
You don't think.
What is it, Glenn? What's wrong?
You're my daughter!
Now that's gonna be a tough one for therapy to scrub away. So the father and daughter try to move past that, with Courtney revealing she never knew her mom and wants to know more about her.
Your mom was really... thing hanging on the bulletin board behind you.
You clearly knew her well, Glenn. You really are an adjective written on the script. But he does do one good thing and offers to let her live with him.
Hey, you're my daughter. I want to make sure you have everything you need.
So Quagmire puts everything into being a girl dad, which I would say makes Peter look bad, but he already does that enough himself.
Yeah, we're going camping. Hey, you and Meg should come with us, Peter. We'll make it a father-daughter bonding weekend.
Oh sure, and we'll just forget you tried to seduce Meg in the past. I'm sure Courtney would have been delighted to have a stepmom her age. So they give it a try, though Peter is less than enthused.
You don't get air like this back in Quahog, do you, Pete?
I don't know, some places probably.
But during a hike, the gang seems to get a bit lost.
Hold on, we've been here already.
Yeah, she's right. That's where I graffitied that rock.
If this teaches us anything, it's that it takes at least 14 years to turn around on John Mayer's music.
Well, at least I didn't get us lost.
We're not lost! We're just two dads in the woods.
I guess the fear of never seeing civilization again has gotten to Quagmire.
Dad, I'm sorry.
I'm not Dad! I'm Quagmire! Glenn Quagmire! Giggity! Giggity!
To be fair, you're the one who hyperfixates on these things, Glenn. And now his carelessness has set the woods on fire. Can't giggity your way out of this one.
I promise, if we make it out of here, we can start again. Deal?
Deal.
Luckily, some firefighters show up to save them just in the nick of time. I'm sure he'll hold up his end of the bargain with his daughter. Oh, by the way, how's Anna Lee doing? But Quagmire would do well on his promise to show Lois a good time at her high school reunion while not making a move on her, much to Lois's annoyance in the episode The Lois Quagmire. So Lois gets invited to a reunion at her super fancy private high school.
I'm sure you and Peter will have a great time.
Peter.
You mean the living embodiment of an overstuffed garbage can? That Peter?
Brian, these girls come from old money, so they can be pretty stuffy and judgmental.
Well, a normal person would just simply not go. But you're not exactly a well-adjusted beacon of normalcy yourself, are you, Lois? But when she runs into Quagmire with his big boy job and clean-cut demeanor, she hatches a school reunion plan.
I thought maybe it'd be fun if, I don't know, maybe the two of us went together?
And if you're worried about mixed signals, well, you probably should be.
Yeah, I know. know he's gonna try and sleep with me, but I'm a big girl and I can handle Quagmire.
Well, as long as none of that comes as a surprise to you, I guess it's okay. Sure, go on a date with your creepy neighbor. So the two arrive at their hotel and the husbandry commences.
Oh no wife of mine carries her own bags.
Very chivalrous of you, Quagmire. Surely there's no relationship-ruining intent behind this. But when they arrive at their room, they find only a single romantic bed. Classic romance story trope. What the heck? I'm actually rooting for them to get together now.
But don't get any ideas, because nothing is gonna happen between us.
Spoken like someone who's gonna have something happen between them. Regardless, the two show up and show out, with Quagmire making a great first impression with the ladies.
May I say that you have the breasts of an obese woman and the arms of an anorexic.
But he's not just all sweet words, he's also got a soul full of song, apparently. Notice how he didn't even bother to wipe that other guy's spit off the sax? That's how you know he's a real jazz man.
Well, what can I say? I'm a lucky woman.
So when they return to their room, it's time to find out if he's gonna be lucky tonight too.
I want you to meet the cocktail waitress I'm about to sleep with.
What?
Not even an attempt? What happened to the Quagmire I used to know? Though it may not be too hard to believe, Lois is actually a little peeved at Quagmire's lack of attention.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your brunch captain speaking. It's gonna be a bumpy ride, cause I'm making mimosas.
This has been fun and all, but if she's not aggressively turning down his advances, then what was the point?
Oh, you think he's so wonderful? Last night he screwed the cocktail waitress.
Lois tries to leave, which causes confusion for Quagmire since he gave her everything she asked for.
I didn't make a move. I didn't even come close.
That's the problem.
All this woman wants is to feel desired, even if it means baiting your husband's best friend into trying to sleep with you. Is that really so wrong?
Look, if you wanted a decent guy who's only been into you and only you should have brought Peter.
Yeah, well, that would have taken common sense and self-respect, and do you see who you're talking to?
Why don't we continue our discussion in the shower? A little wet-a-tet.
How dare you?
Thanks, Glenn. She needed that. And what a Herculean show of restraint, might I add. But Quagmire didn't always turn down Lois, as when Peter got amnesia in Big Man on Hippocampus, he tried to swoop in to claim her for himself. So Peter's struck with a bad case of amnesia after falling headfirst through a table.
What happened? Where am I? Who are you?
Next to quicksand, amnesia was another thing I thought was a lot more common when I was a kid.
His memory could return in days, weeks, years, or never. Or weeks.
So basically whatever works best for the plot. Luckily, he has some great friends to help him remember his past.
What do we do here?
Well, we usually come here, you buy us drinks, and tell us what Lois's look like you always do.
Way to take advantage of the situation, Glenn. Though this isn't the worst thing he ends up doing in this episode. But before that, Peter sneakily tries to find out what Lois looks like in her birthday suit.
Peter, you don't have to spy on me. You're my husband. Come on in.
Oh boy, no fooling!
Apparently, when he forgot everything, he really forgot everything. So Lois takes it upon herself to reintroduce him to the wonderful world of marital relations. And actor Dwayne Johnston takes it upon himself to show us what that would look like. Whoa, can we even show that? That might be too hot for YouTube. It turns out Peter loves that and he can't wait to do it again.
You ready to have sex?
You bet. Move over so Tiffany and I have room.
What?
Sorry, Peter, but that's not in the rulebook. Have you read that thing? It's a bit gratuitous, but still tasteful.
Why the hell would I commit to having sex with one person for the rest of my life?
Because we love each other.
I think all Peter loves is wearing the same outfit every day and doing the nasty. Unfortunately for Lois, this whole faithful and responsible stuff sounds lame to him.
I'm leaving, and I'm taking the kids with me.
Well, yeah, those guys don't fit into those two aforementioned things Peter loves. God, I hope not. So Lois and the kids move into a crummy downtown apartment while Peter lives it up at home like a bachelor.
Peter, you left your family for this?
Look, I don't know what I was doing before, but this is the way man was meant to live.
Surrounded by people 10 years younger than you and turning your house into a beer bottle recycling plant? But if Peter's back on the market, then that means Lois is too. And Quagmire smells blood in the water.
Lois, oh my gosh, hi!
He plays dumb, pretending not to know what's going on when he's actually found his perfect moment to strike. Also, who the heck buys 5 whole hams? What kind of nonsense goes on in that house?
You wanna stop by tomorrow night? I'll just whip something up.
Well, sure, that sounds nice, Glenn.
Hook, line, and sinker. Sinker? I hardly know her! Fishing puns. So after a nice meal and plenty of wine, Quagmire is liking where this is heading. Or at least where he thinks it's heading.
Well, you're a very sweet friend, and you're so good to listen to my troubles.
Oh, I could listen for hours, Lois.
Well, she doesn't seem to suspect anything, so maybe she'll fall for one of the oldest plays in the book.
Whoa! Whoa!
Nothing to see here, just some platonic friend straddling. It's actually impolite not to do that after a good meal. Brian comes to warn Peter about what's happening, but it turns out that Peter got his memory back a few days ago.
Well, I figured I could enjoy the bachelor life for a few more days before getting Lois back.
On second thought, just leave him to suffer, Brian. If he can easily forget Lois, maybe he can forget what she and Quagmire are about to do.
If Peter's never coming back to me, it's at least nice to know I'm in the arms of a trusted friend.
Big fat quotation marks around the word trusted. Also regular size quotation marks around the word friend.
Uh-oh.
What, is something wrong?
I don't know. I'll be right back.
Apparently, comfort and trust isn't very arousing for Quagmire. Who would have thought? Luckily, Peter arrives before he can figure out his problem.
I got my memory back, and I love you, Lois. I want you and the kids back. I want our old life back.
Let's just ignore the fact Peter willingly stayed single for longer than he could have. I guess you can't blame Quagmire for trying, though his struggle to get going really says more about his character than he'd probably like. But his feelings for her didn't go away that easily, as an unfortunate butt dial revealed his love for her to Peter in the episode Hot Pocket Dial. So Peter, Lois, Quagmire, and Ida are sharing a fun night of whining and dining.
Oh, God, that's hilarious, Lois. I could listen to you talk all night.
Whether or not he'd be doing it clothed is up for debate. Ida wants them to all hang out again, so Lois extends an invite for the next day.
Fire up the grill and have the gang over for a cookout.
And so they call it a night the way most middle-aged hangouts end, with a blurry selfie.
Perfect. Well, good night, you guys.
With the flash and shutter on and everything? You sure do like to live dangerously, Mr. Quagmire.
Boy, that Lois is really something, isn't she?
Yeah. Peter's a lucky guy.
Spoken like a man with unrequited feelings, which Ida picks up on.
You really wish you had a woman like Lois, don't you?
No, I don't want a woman like Lois. I want Lois.
So Quagmire professes his love for Lois, but luckily his secret is safe with Ida.
Must have pocket dialed me again.
I want Lois. She's perfect. I've loved her for years.
Hey, take this as a PSA to never leave your phone in the seat of your pants. Butt dials have ruined relationships, spread secrets, and probably even toppled entire nations.
Quagmire's in love with my wife?
I mean, for a while there were only like 3 women in the main cast, so it's not like you had a lot of options. Peter decides to bring this newfound info to Brian, the expert in loving Lois despite being friends with Peter.
Well, I guess it's not that shocking. I mean, he has said 100 times that he wants to bang Lois.
Yeah, but this is love we're talking about. The real body part he wants to give to Lois is actually his heart.
You've got to be the bigger man. You got to just keep this to yourself.
Fine, I won't say anything.
This kind of feels like a stealthy way of getting Peter off of Brian's own loving Lois trail, doesn't it? So Peter tries to let it go, but he still thinks Quagmire is out to steal Lois from him.
I wasn't sure what people like, so I got some with seeds on them and some without.
What does he mean by that? Seeds?
All this talk of seeds and buns has put Peter's brain in a dirty, angry place.
Get the hell away from my wife, you scumbag!
Peter, what are you talking about?
So Peter plays the pocket dial for all to hear. They'll settle this like the Neanderthals used to do, with unnecessary violence.
Hey, get your hands off me!
The brawl ends with Peter calling off the whole friendship. While you're at it, you might as well beat up everyone else who had the hots for Lois. I can see like 5 of them in this scene right now. Good luck guessing.
But if Quagmire actually has feelings for you, I'm afraid he might take you away from me.
Peter, we've been down this road before, and you know that's silly. Then again, we did put out a video on all the times Lois tried to cheat on Peter, so maybe he has reason for concern. Unable to deal with the shame, Quagmire decides to move out of the neighborhood. Can Peter put this behind them for the good of their friendship?
Quagmire, wait! You almost left without this!
Yeah, I wasn't counting on it. But with Quagmire gone, the guys don't really have anything to fill that big-chinned void.
Peter, face it, without Quagmire, we're boring.
Excuse me, the star of the Cleveland show is sitting right there. Doesn't get any more exciting than that. So Peter and Lois go to Quagmire to try to put this whole thing to bed. Okay, probably not the best choice of words. They want to make things normal again.
And the truth is, we all have private thoughts we don't act on. And that's okay.
You mean like those intrusive thoughts you have when you're somewhere really high up and suddenly want to jump? Our brains are really out to get us, aren't they?
The secret to happiness is burying all your true feelings and living a life of bland compromise.
As depressing as that sounds, Quagmire agrees to suppress his feelings for Lois to maintain his friendship with Peter. A noble act on his part, but one I don't entirely trust. Reaching the carrot on the string seems impossible, but the horse still tries. Sweaty clam proverbs. But why focus on one woman when you can focus on 1,000, which is exactly what Quagmire does to celebrate his career as a creep in the episode Fighting Irish. So Quagmire is delivering invitations for his big event, Quagfest.
You and a guest are cordially invited to witness Glenn Quagmire's 1,000th sexual conquest at Quagfest.
You mean he wants people to watch that? Maybe there are some kinks we should shame.
Damn, 1,000 women?
Well, 1,000 sexual conquests. No further questions.
No further questions needed, mostly because I want to keep you all pure from the deviant acts this man partakes in. And so he shuts the whole street down for Quagfest, an event that seems way more child-friendly than a topic like that would suggest.
Oh, look, here's a simulation of what it's like to have sex with Quagmire.
You know what? I'm good. Quagmire's been with so many women that he's even able to separate them by country.
And there's Thailand. Wow. Wow, they're young. We should go.
We knew he was a well-traveled man, but we never said he was an ethically traveled man. As night falls, Quagmire decides to bring out an extra special guest.
Now, no celebration of my 1,000th would be complete without first meeting number 1.
Which turns out to be an elderly elementary school teacher. If you do the math on their ages, well, I probably wouldn't say that union was something to celebrate.
Ladies and gentlemen, my 1,000th sexual conquest is this largemouth bass.
Okay, forget it. I have further questions. Is that a real bass or a fake one? Is something like that legal in the state of Rhode Island? Do you plan to cook it and eat it after? I simultaneously really want to know and also really don't want to know. At least Quagmire knows how to put on a show.
Except I got molested in the House of Mirrors by either one man or 100 identical men.
Yeah, on second thought, this doesn't sound like a yearly festival. Yelp is about to flame that place. But Quagmire is capable of doing some good, as he did save a woman from having a heart attack after he went through extensive rehabilitation and blind ambition. So things start out with Lois coming to pick the guys up from the bowling alley.
Hi, boys. Your ride is here.
Hey, you're just in time. Mort's one ball away from a perfect game.
Wow, maybe they should invite Mort along more often. Yeah, I don't think so either. But with his grandma-like athleticism, Mort does bowl a perfect game.
I just never stop believing. Say no to it.
Powerful words from a Q-tip of a man.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna go tinkle.
Judging by how Quagmire's eyes just lit up, I think Lois must have said the magic word. But there's nothing unusual here, just an average, gross bowling alley bathroom. Maybe it's just the air conditioning, or a ghost that haunts the toilets? But no, either one of those would be better than the actual reality.
Would you just sit down and go to the bathroom already?
And judging by that mugshot, Lois must have really given it to him good. Hopefully in one of the rare ways that doesn't turn him on.
It's all yours, Joe.
You know, you're lucky I've got some extra pull around here.
Hey, all Quagmire was trying to do is get a little lucky with some pull too. But this is no time for a giggity. This is serious.
I know an apology is due here, so, Lois, tell Quagmire you're sorry you had him arrested.
I think she's more sorry she didn't make him bite the toilet seat and give him a good stomping.
Well, clearly he thinks you're attractive, Lois. It's a positive thing.
But this sounds like one too many positive things for the women on the street.
We have had it with his disrespect for women. We're petitioning the city to have him removed from the neighborhood.
Big talk for someone who literally sleeps with Glenn 2 episodes later. But I suppose she does make a good case.
Quagmire's a good guy. He's just a little mixed up.
Oh, I guess we're having a chicken fight now? Sure, the actual story can wait another 2.5 minutes.
Give him another chance, huh?
All right, but one more incident like the one at the bowling alley and Quagmire is out of this neighborhood.
So Quagmire's pals vow to help him rehabilitate, which is pretty tough considering all he sees is women.
Meg, get out of the way.
Sounds like you just need to remove his eyes. Problem solved. But the guys decide to try something a little more drastic. Something I like to call the guillotine.
Oh God, dead kittens, old nuns, really old nuns.
And after that little exercise, Peter thinks he's ready for the outside world.
Okay, Quagmire, time to take off your training wheels.
Okay, I think I'm ready.
But who knew the mall would be so full of alluring vices? They must have forgotten about those state-issued fountain cheerleaders every mall has.
We don't want to get our sweaters all wet. Better take them off.
The lustful, arousing embodiment of capitalism proves to be too much for Quagmire, who tries to flee the building but ends up in a sicko's paradise.
This is where we monitor all the dressing rooms in the mall so we can keep an eye out for shoplifters.
But Quagmire spots a woman having a heart attack and dashes over to her to lend a hand. Judging by his reaction, he may have been trying to lend other parts of his body too.
You saved her life. Thank God you know CPR.
What the hell, CPR?
Well, intentional or not, Quagmire is still hailed as a hero and given the key to the city. Which is ironic, because this episode is more proof that women should be locking their doors when they see Quagmire coming their way. And it wouldn't be the last time he'd be a hero, as Quagmire managed to save a plane from a hijacking in the episode Passenger Fatty 7. So Quagmire returns from a trip to Aruba, and the guys learn the magical benefits of having a pilot for a friend.
Oh, airline employees can get discounted tickets for family and close friends.
What? How come you never done that for us?
Because I have a feeling deep in my soul that Peter is worse to sit next to on a flight than a crying toddler.
Sure, yeah, I could take you somewhere. I'm going to San Francisco next week. You guys want to come?
So the guys touch down in San Fran and enjoy all the city has to offer. Cable cars, Ghirardelli, and Tig Notaro haircuts.
Wow, so that was San Francisco.
I didn't realize how hilly it was gonna be.
Damn, looking swole, Joe. And while Quagmire is giving them a tour of the plane, they learn of another magical benefit: autopilot.
Oh, that allows the plane to fly itself when I need a break.
Wait, what do you mean a break? You don't have to fly the plane?
Well, in that case, I could probably fly that thing, and I can't even drive a car. You'd be surprised how hard it is for someone who lives underwater to get a driver's license. Ooh, sweaty clam lore.
You know, being a pilot is hard work. Look, I tried to be nice and take you fellas on a free trip, and all you can do is crap all over my job.
It's okay, Quagmire. Lots of people have nothing jobs. You could be one of those people who answers emails for 3 hours a day and gets paid 6 figures. Now that's the American dream. But once the plane is in the air, the flight's interrupted by a few guys with guns.
This plane now belongs to us. You move, you're dead.
The thugs try to gain control of the plane, but luckily Quagmire is locked in the cockpit.
Open the door, or I'll start executing passengers.
Yeah, that'll show... I'm gonna be honest, I'm not sure what you guys are actually trying to accomplish here.
Last chance, open the door, or this idiot gets it.
Don't open it, Quagmire. It's not worth it.
Okay.
A little quick to agree there, aren't you, Quagmire? You aren't still mad about Peter calling you a lazy, talentless, do-nothing waste of a paycheck, are ya? Luckily, Joe and Cleveland sneak into the cargo bay and retrieve Joe's check gun.
Prepare to die. You first.
That's what you think.
Hey, Joe, you know Peter's standing there. There he goes. So Peter and the hijacker fight on the wheels of the plane, with Peter being saved by a well-thrown suitcase.
Die in hell, Euro trash!
Thanks for the slightly xenophobic save, Cleveland. Well, now that they're armed, it's time to get down to business.
Oh, rats. My bullets are in my shaving kit.
But a bad guy with a gun can only be stopped by a good guy with a hot pot of coffee. Maybe caffeine is good for something after all.
Thanks for keeping us in the sky, boys.
Now reach for it.
I knew you should never trust a man wearing the blue shirt and blue tie combo. A truly devilish combination. With the hijacker now in control, Quagmire hatches a pretty smart plan. Fasten your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen.
You ever been to Vegas before?
No.
Well, I think you're gonna flip for it! Yeah!
Nice work! I mean, someone might have just gotten their necks snapped in the bathroom, but nice work! But despite regaining control of the plane, the military still thinks it's en route to crash somewhere.
They must think the hijackers still control the plane, and our communications are jammed, so we can't even tell them everything's okay!
See, this is why you gotta switch your phone to airplane mode. So the military tries to shoot them down, but Quagmire uses his Air Force training to outmaneuver their missiles, just not all of them.
We've been hit!
Any more obvious observations, Joe? Luckily, Quagmire is a Class A pilot and manages to safely land the plane in a lake.
Thanks for saving all of our lives. We're sorry for saying your job was easy.
He's definitely a hero when he wants to be, but how could something like this happen on a plane in this day and age?
Oh, yeah, in case we didn't say, this was Spirit Airlines.
Ah, makes more sense now. But if you're feeling the spirit, be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed the video and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more Family Guy videos posted every week.